Hello, my name is Mariana Vanden Heuvel, and I'm going to be talking today about Annie Oakley. Annie Oakley was born Phoebe Ann Moses in a small town in Ohio in 1860. She was born into poverty as one of six, and then her father passed away. When her mother remarried and had another child, that husband also passed away, leaving them with seven children to care for. Well, Annie moved to live with another family for a little while just to help lighten the load at home. And she actually got an education in exchange for helping with the children of the Eddington family. She lived there till she was about 13 or 14, and then at 15, she helped to pay her family's mortgage from her shooting skills. She shot for small game at a grocery store in Greenville, Ohio, and that game was sold to hotels and restaurants over in Cincinnati, which was around 80 miles away. But because she was such a champion markswoman by 15 years old, she basically brought an invitation from this guy named Jack Frost, who is a hotel owner in Cincinnati, again 80 miles away, who then kind of asked her to participate in a shoot-off against Frank E. Butler, who was a champion marksman at the time. Annie won the match with 25 shots out of 25 attempts. So she had 25 out of 25. And Butler missed one shot. This amazing girl entranced Butler, and the two of them began a courtship, and that resulted in marriage in 1876. And then from 1876 on, Butler was a marksman for show, and so she joined the show. She was kind of like a manager assistant, but by 1882 she started shooting alongside her husband. Someone got sick and she took over for them, and that's where she got her stage name, Annie Oakley. She was called Annie from a young girl, but she was Annie Moses and then Annie Butler. And then offstage she was always Mrs. Frank Butler, never Annie Oakley. A few years later, so from 1882 to 1885, they were on their own. But then in 1885, the couple joined Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, which is very showed the Wild West, and it was very popular. The textbook talks about how it shaped views and of Native Americans and cowboys, and it was basically a modern day TV. They would travel and show different skills, similar to a circus. But until then, Butler was the star of the show. He was a man after all. But at this Wild West show, Annie was actually the star, and she was advertised as champion markswoman. Thankfully, Butler happily accepted this position and became her manager and assistant. They remained with the show for 17 years and then continued to do their own shows until 1925, when they both, their health started deteriorating after an automobile accident, and they then passed away within 3 weeks of each other in November of 1926. Annie's historical role. She was such an amazing woman to show her femininity all the time, but she was incredibly strong, and she did so showing that women and children weren't too fragile to do masculine things. And so her role in the Wild West show brought in a lot of women to see this, and she just like showed feminine strength. She was also not a political figure, but she made friends with other political figures. She became friends with Sitting Bull in 1876, and he called her Little Sure Shot. And she was modest, but also so self-assured. It really stood out to Sitting Bull, and these two unsuspecting friends became good friends. She's left such a legacy as a Western folk hero. She was one of the first American legends who was feminine, but really pushed the boundaries of femininity because she was doing things that were deemed masculine. She remained completely herself, keeping dignity and propriety at the forefront while still showing that she was superior to men of her station in shooting competitions, and showing that she could be an expert markswoman and hunter compared to all these men.